this workshop is part of the Trust the People learning programme. Last week, we looked at community assemblies and worked on how we can hold inclusive spaces for people in our neighbourhoods. So this workshop is building on that and on everything we've talked about in the last 5 weeks, and we'll think about what comes next. So today, this is all about community organising. There's lots of different incredible things that local communities can achieve. Energy co-op, community gardens, reclaimed local councils. But this workshop will not give you a to-do list of how to make those things happen. Instead, we're going to look at the common threads that need to be in place if these incredible initiatives are going to fly. So we're going to be thinking about attitude, awareness, lightness, energy, imagination, and inspiration. Take a moment to imagine a free, self-funding, and legal way of turning unused buildings in your neighbourhoods into community hubs for dealing with the climate emergency and any other issue that your neighbourhood wants to tackle. So picture that in your mind's eye.
Okay, so my name's Phoenix. I've been getting into unused buildings in various communities over the last 30 years and setting up environment and community centres. And then in the last about 6 years, we hit on this way of approaching landlords and setting up legal entities, negotiating with them and getting empty buildings, basically.
So climate emergency centres, what are they? A lot of towns and cities across the country declared a climate emergency. But the problem is that a lot of them are stuck. They haven't got the resources or the time or the money to do what they need to do. And austerity in the last 10, 15 years has shut down a lot of buildings and a lot of spaces that used to be used for the community. So the Climate Emergency Centre is the next logical step. It provides a focal point for residents in the local community and businesses and councils and whoever else to come together and start building a community climate action plan. The solutions that we need for the planet are also the solutions that we need for people, sharing resources, locally based economies. All of those things start to build community resilience. So the idea is that the building then develops a sort of community climate action plan where you look at how you're going to address things like energy, education, transport, planning, waste management, land use, those sorts of things.
Basically, 12 cities working on it already. London, Ilford and Staines opening up soon. Guildford's pretty close. Farnham's just been offered a building.
The Phoenix and Climate Emergency Centres and all of that, it's quite big. But what's so beautiful about it is that it's such a win-win-win. Many of those ideas are much easier to get started on if there is a council which is ambitious and cooperative and helpful and does things different. All that work could be so much easier. So I'm going to just tell you what we did in Frome in relation to exactly that. I'd started the Transition Town movement in Frome, and I went to the town council and asked for their cooperation, and it was completely obvious that it wasn't going to happen. I met a group of other people, none of whom had been involved in local politics before, but kind of thought, there's got to be a better way to do this. We've got to get this level working. And this is partly around democracy, but it's also about trying to reposition a local council so that the role of the council is to respond to what people in the community are trying to do. We found ourselves kind of by accident with a group of 17 people wanting to stand in 17 seats. So as a group of individuals, we'll listen to each other. We won't stab each other in the back when we get defeated, but much more importantly, we'll trust in experts in the community. A lot of what we were doing is essentially trust the people. We recognize that you have the expertise. You know what the issues are where you live. You know what the issues are about being a single mum in this part of town. We'll do something which is much more participatory. It's just one of the ways that may work for some people. We're not saying it's the answer, but it can hugely facilitate communities